I'm jumping on the YouTuber bandwagon because I am in severe debt. Anyways, hello everyone. My name's M or Emmy, whatever you want to call me, or you could just call me SakeU, which is my username. And I draw, obviously, as you can see. I am drawing my OC in the background. And this is a voiceover because my dumbass didn't know how to record audio while drawing, which is something I want to do in the future because I want to record my art fight attacks and I want to show you guys how I go about that in the future. Oh, speaking of art fight, here's my art fight. I'm gonna put it up on the screen if you want to come attack me. Um, I would appreciate it a lot, and I'm looking for people to attack. I already have some people on my hit list, but I really love seeing people's OCs, and I want to try to improve on drawing furries. And I know a lot of people have furry OCs, so yeah, it's really crazy because back then when I was a little kid, starting this YouTube channel for the first time, it was like all I would draw furries. I even had a fursona. I was making a fursuit, but it didn't really take off, and now I'm over here drawing people with extensive lore. It's the only way I found like I know how to make characters. Anyways, that's one of the things I want to do with this channel. This is like an introduction video to the channel that I'm restarting. I'm gonna try to have a consistent schedule because I do have those art block days. I'm sure we all do. It's very common. So I'm just gonna try to push through and maybe I'll make a video about it. We'll see. This is all very experimental. I didn't really have a script in mind for this video, and I was gonna make the time lapse a lot longer so that I would have 20 minutes to talk, but I don't really know what to talk about. That's basically it. I could tell you a little bit about who I'm drawing, so I guess I'll do that. Marzel is this regular guy, just lives with his dad, who is a famous painter. Wow, shocker. And he just lived his life, but his dad never let him go outside because of a fear that Marzel really never understood. So he's been very sheltered, lived a lot of his life on the internet, looking up these creatures called entities, which is basically like mermaids, sirens, dragons, or like jelly blobs, right? And he was very fascinated about them. And in this world, there are also these things called entities, which is basically like a Pokemon of sorts that's catered to you, genetically tied to you by an element. Not an element, but like they have elements. And he really wanted one. I can explain artifacts later, but he really wanted an artifact, and his father was really, really against them. He would paint things about artifacts all the time, saying how he hated them. And he respected his dad a lot because his dad raised him alone after his mother left them. So he didn't get an artifact out of respect for his dad. And now he's starting college and everyone around him has an artifact. He's the only kid in his classes without an artifact, and the classes that require you to do stuff with your artifact, he just has to sit out and he gets bad grades. And no one can understand why he doesn't have an artifact because everyone and their mom has an artifact. It's kind of like a driver's license. But I know people in this generation don't really like driving. At least the people around me don't really like driving. So not everyone has a driver's license. I'm getting on a tangent. Anyway, and he's kind of like the odd one out for not having an artifact. He meets this girl in his classes called Vivian, which is important. She's important to the story because she kind of like pushes the narrative so that he gets where he is in my current timeline of events. I'm still making his story. It's really hard because I'm trying to write a book for him. It's this whole thing. Anyway, that's basically who he is. He meets Vivian, and Vivian shows him her artifact, which is this little sea otter. Oh, let me explain a little bit about artifacts. Artifacts are these creatures, like these entities. I have the picture, I'll put it up on screen. Um, that the people that made Artifacts, because Artifacts is a company, they found this creature that wasn't. Mm, it wasn't like it didn't have any emotions. It didn't like feel anything. Like it had no nervous system. It didn't have the capacity to like form connections, feel emotions, and they saw that these entities also had magical powers, elemental. And this is like very rare in the entity space. When they found these creatures, entities were a very new thing to society, and they were really, really scared of them. So they took advantage of this and took this entity in and found a way to fuse that entity's DNA with human DNA to make artifacts, which is what they started calling them to differentiate them from just regular old entities. And it took a very long time to jumpstart the company and like figure out the exact process. But once they did, they became millionaires, maybe even billionaires. I'm not sure. They're rich people, okay? I have rich OCs. There's three of them. Well, technically five because of their kids. No, technically six because of the famous painter. You know what? Never mind. Famous painter is not even that rich. I'll be name dropping eventually if you guys want to hear more. And where was I? Artifacts, right. So basically, artifacts need a shape because once you fuse them with the human DNA, they kind of become these like blobs of like, what am I? What am I? You know? So um one of the founders of Artifact had this idea to make them molds of like animals. And there was this whole research on what animals would fit best um what element, which was all my research, by the way. I was sitting at my computer for so long researching animals, like which animal would fit best, and I don't even think I made the right decision because the element of fire has horse as their mold because I really like horses, and I'm very biased because my favorite founder of Artifact has the element of fire, and he's my favorite character ever. And maybe I'll draw him one day and you'll get to see him. But he got horses because I said so. This is my book. You can't take this away from me. Anyways, I got a little carried away there. Anyway, so they made these molds for artifacts, and that's where it started to really take off. Um, since they have a whole lore that I'm not gonna get into now, but one of the founders' parents saw this and decided that they wanted to help them out in their discovery. Not discovery, kickstart their company. And they basically went up from there. It became this whole thing, and governments started to capitalize on it, specifically the United States. Ooh, what was that? Anyways, specifically the United States, because that's where they were. And they started like implementing artifacts into their government, into their military, because why wouldn't they? It's the United States. Um, and that's how they started. That's how they kickstarted. I've said that three times. And yeah, that's basically the world now. In the present day where their story takes place, those founders are in their 40s and these are their kids. This is their kids' story, and I want their kids to be like parallels of the three founders. There's three of them, two guys and one girl. And for their kids, it is also two guys and one girl, but Marzel's not one of their kids, obviously. Vivian is one of the kids. She's the kid of this founder called Angelica. I said I wasn't gonna name drop, but like it's really hard to explain without name dropping. And another one is Atlas, which, holy moly, Atlas got a huge design overhaul recently. I can put it on screen what he used to look like and what he looks like now. It's crazy. I don't even know. Anyways, I can also put up on screen some pictures of everyone else in the story with their names under because I don't really name my drawings. I don't think anyone does. But yeah, this is my story. I can expand on it. It would be like a multi-part series because there's so much. I've made so much content for this, and it's like it's really my passion project, and I don't really have anyone to share it with other than like my boyfriend. So if you guys want to hear about it, let me know. If not, it's fine too. I can entertain myself with my own story, honestly. Like, actually, you have no say. I'm gonna post it anyway. What the heck? My story, my channel, my rules. Anyways, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna leave this off here because I don't really have anything else to say, and there's only 3 minutes of the video left. Um, I'll put up the photos here of my OCs, and I'll put up my socials if you want to follow me there. I don't really post much on my Twitter, but yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!